call the meeting to order. Eric, would you like to do roll call?
Absolutely. Cordray?
Here.
Baker?
Here.
McNally?
Here.
And Hamel.
Here.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes from our last meeting. Commission, I assume you've had time to read them. Is there any discussion? Any corrections? Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, there's a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded to approve the meeting minutes from April 21st, 2026 as presented. All in favor, say yes.
Yes. I'm gonna abstain.
Oh, okay. The motion carries. Okay, that brings us to communications. It's a little scary. Franklin County has a zoning resolution regarding chickens, ducks, and rabbits that we should look at and possibly adopt. Eric, to you.
I got you. So, in doing some research, I wanted to look at what Franklin County's done and then what we have currently in place. As you know, we adopted Franklin County's zoning resolution in 2013, and then that's what we've moved forward with. And then we make modifications, we notify planning, and go forward. Anyhow, in looking at that, I saw that they have a zoning resolution regarding chickens, ducks, and rabbits, and it's based on a point system. Now, it's clearly in theirs that it doesn't, you're not allowed to have roosters, no roosters. However, due to food insecurities, being able to raise your own animals, eggs, that kind of stuff, they had adopted a policy. And it didn't have to meet the 2 acres or anything like that, 1 acre and so forth. So I thought that maybe we could take a look at what their zoning resolution is and possibly adopt that here in the country.
Well, I noticed that it was still reflective that you have to have at least a half an acre to raise these farm animals. We're not changing.
In the Franklin County one, or
Mhm.
ours? In Franklin County?
Yeah, and I think in ours too, which would put most properties in the land neighborhoods out.
Yeah, so, it's the new one, or what they have listed on there, it could be under an acre, under half an acre. It just depended upon what points they met. So depending upon how large the lot was, I think it had like 0 to, or 0.15 or something like that to another number. I didn't bring it tonight, but I just wanted to put it out there. I'll be happy to send it out to everybody. We can have further discussion in the future, but it's just something I came across. We get a lot of complaints. People have chickens. So Lee Road's a big one. They're allowed to have chickens because the property meets the requirement to have the chickens. But they can't have roosters, and they don't have a rooster. Then there's other ones, I've heard that those other ones within the township, within Huber Ridge, that have chickens. Now, I haven't seen them, but, you know, I can't go in somebody's backyard and say, hey, you got chickens back there. But I've heard that there are some chickens.
Yeah, I've heard occasionally they get loose.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, we had a potbelly pig, and
Yeah.
we got loose too. But it is something that they adopted, and just keep it in line with it. I mean, your neighbor's allowed to do it across the way, but you couldn't. I understand it. I just think it's something maybe we could take a look at. If we don't want to adopt it, we don't have to. It's just something to, I wanted wanted to bring forth and see maybe we can have a discussion about it.
Can you give us kind of a quick rundown of what you saw and explain the points?
Sure. So depending upon your size of your property, it went by a point system. So if you had under half an acre, you were allotted 4 points, for example. And each animal is a point. So you could have 4 chickens, or you could have 2 chickens and 2 ducks, 2 rabbits, two whatever it is, a combination of 4. And then the larger the property, the more you could have. And I forget what the max was. It might have been 12 points. I don't recall. But, I'll be happy to print it off and send it out. But that was pretty much, it summed it up. And the reason they did it is because of, we had COVID, we had all those issues, and I think that they thought, you know what, we could really benefit from this, help people out, and we're allowed to raise animals.
This is a loaded question, and I know the answer, but I gotta, I'm assuming those are domesticated rabbits? Okay.
Franklin County unincorporated townships permits backyard chickens and small livestock on parcels smaller than 5 acres under section 115. Goes on. It's required prior to keeping animals, the ownership is limited by a point system based on acreage. Roosters, turkeys, and geese are prohibited from smaller lots. The county uses a point system where each chicken counts as 1 point. The maximum allowed on parcels smaller than 5 acres are 0.05 acres, 4 points. 0.5 to less than 1 acre, 8 points. 1 to less than 5 acres, point limits increase incrementally based on exact lot size. Under a half acre, 4 points. Didn't say that. It's just under 4 points. So you can
As I recall, there was some pretty stringent regulation about housing the animals and cleaning after the animals and disposing of their waste.
Exactly right. It goes on, coops and enclosures must be kept in the side or rear yards, property lines. All sheltering structures and outdoor animal runs must be located at least 10 feet from any property line. Containment, chickens must be kept in a fenced-in sheltering structure at all times. Screening for property smaller than an acre. Sheltering structures, outdoor run areas must be fully screened from neighboring view using opaque fence. And then they have the permitting process.
Oh, and there was something about slaughter of the animals too.
I don't see that on this right here, but possible.
Probably, yeah. And that has to be kept from view.
Well,
Okay.
it's interesting. If we went down that path, would we also have to look at any of our zoning resolutions if people wanted to sell the eggs and,
That's
in their
included.
yard?
They don't allow it in
They don't
Franklin
allow
County.
that?
No, they can't sell the animals, the eggs, or meat. That's what I saw when I looked at it. Because that's a whole different
Personal use
thing.
or?
Yeah, it's
together with
strictly
a
personal.
Farmer's market?
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Ask them for a decision, but, just roll it over for a little bit and then,
We'll take a look at it
I'll
next
print
time.
I'll print the, resolution out.
Yeah, that was a curveball.
Hey, I put the agenda out early, so you guys knew what's coming, so.
Yeah, I saw chicken coop months ago, right by Westville South High School.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but it was a pretty nice one, but it was effective.
Well, okay.
All right.
The next item on the agenda is public comment. You're on if you have a comment.
I'm actually here for a new business hearing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You'll
But
wait
thank you.
till then. All right. Old business, we will look at the amendments.
So during our last meeting, we had discussions about the updates. There were a few revisions that needed to be made. Those were included, and Julie sent back the other draft, and we'll have that under new business, under a motion to initiate. But the updated amendments in there.
Oh,
It
okay. So
included
this is
extensions for the
short-term
variances.
rental.
Uh-huh.
And then these are for voting on the amendments, but that's during the hearing.
Correct.
Okay.
It would just be to initiate the amendment. Yep.
And the recommendation for the amendment to the trustees, right?
So, because the zoning commission, the first step would be initiating the amendment, and then after, so you wouldn't have the hearing today. You would have to initiate the amendment, which is the motion in front of you. And then, Eric will post notice of the hearing, and at your next zoning commission hearing, or meeting, you would have a hearing on the amendment itself. Which you guys basically, you've worked through a lot of the details. And then at that next meeting, the meeting that you have the hearing, you can either continue the amendment, continue the hearing. You can make a recommendation of approval to the trustees or make a recommendation of denial to the trustees. Then basically the process repeats itself at the trustee level.
Okay, so we're just starting the process today.
It would just be initiating the amendment, and then we would come back next month and have the hearing.
So I missed the last meeting, and this looks great. Something that happened in the township since the last meeting I saw on social media, so, it's an allegation, is that someone had a short-term rental across the street from them. They had their truck parked on the side street. The car, during the short-term rental, backed into it and drove away. And, the last I saw on the Facebook post was they were struggling to find out who owned the car. Couldn't make sense of the license plate. And so I'm wondering if we could add into our zoning amendment a clause that like the short-term rental owner has to, for there's parking stated. There's like one parking space per bedroom, but that like, is it possible we add an amendment, or, we add a clause, that the short-term rental owner has to collect, license plate numbers and state of registration?
Yeah, because the issue is that they cannot identify the driver.
So I think, so just kind of walking through the enforcement side of that. So the restriction would require that the Airbnb owner keep like a registry of people who are staying there and the license plates of anybody parking there. I think there are some enforcement problems. Because even just walking through one, obviously Eric and Jeff, when they go around, in terms of enforcement, that's not something they can see. You know, that's not something they can see. Realistically, I wouldn't feel comfortable with them asking for that information, of saying, hey, all right, let me see your registry, basically. Just from public record standpoint, makes me a bit nervous that the township has that information. So just thinking through, not saying that, again, that I don't think that these are necessarily legal issues, but just thinking through kind of some practical concerns. Aside from the zoning enforcement side of things, in that scenario of the township, someone's car gets hit, township can't figure out who it was, or not just, well, yeah, it would be the police department, can't figure out who it was. The township zoning department would have to basically ask for that information, which then would be used by the police department. It makes me a little queasy. Again, I can't tell you the township can't do it. And the flip side of that is, any other person in the township could have a guest or a teenager, or just hit and runs happen in the community. And the township doesn't have a mechanism to kind of compel that information out of someone necessarily. Again, from a zoning perspective, it just makes me nervous that it's, what's the ultimate purpose? To prevent a law enforcement issue? Not saying that the township can't do that, but it does give me some heartburn. But again.
Well, playing devil's advocate for the person who was hit. Since we're addressing it, and looking to put something official in the code, this isn't like somebody's residence, you know, where you have a guest over and they hit your neighbor's car. It's really not the same thing, because some municipalities have the option to ban them altogether. And if we choose to allow them, wouldn't we be liable as a zoning entity for allowing this in the residential areas? Actually, it was in Sunbury, but there shouldn't be short-term rentals there now, but they're operating, right, because they wouldn't fit the criteria that we're looking at. So this is one that would be grandfathered, and any other ones right now would be grandfathered. So how would we deal with that? Yeah, it's pretty horrifying to see a video, and poor guy has nowhere to go. Yeah.
Okay, but if somebody is visiting, I mean, I tell you, that's a stellar idea, but the caveat would be, if somebody is visiting those folks, and they're the perpetrators.
Yeah, you'd kind of be in the same boat.
Right, you're still between a rock and a hard spot. Now, the township police have this new gadget that can take pictures of vehicles and license plates and stuff like that.
Only if they're already looking for the car.
But
or
if
the
somebody calls, well, now what, Chief Belfer said here a while back, if you know what the back end of it looks like, we can, find that too. But I think unfortunately with that new gadget they got, it's gotta be like right now. Cause I don't think those things keep thousands of pictures forever and ever on in a cloud somewhere.
So, we did include, that we required a local contact person and a property contact, and they have to be local, and they have to be available 24 hours a day. So, we don't have that currently, but that would be in place, so it would be an avenue to be able to call and say, hey, whoever was running your property, an individual was there, backed out, and hit the car. We need the information of who was running the property.
And the
then we
new
could
rules
maybe narrow it down.
would apply to grandfathered people.
So the new rules would not apply to existing. So if, so yeah, for the situation that you just described, the township wouldn't be able to use that as a mechanism to try, so anything we do here would not be able to be used as a mechanism to try to assist the person. And it's unfortunate, it's horrible, and that's so frustrating.
We would just have to hope they stop operating as a short-term rental for that period of time, 2 months or
Yeah.
something.
Or 6
I think it
months.
might have been.
It was a pretty long period of time. Yeah, I would, again, from a use perspective, again, what zoning is regulating use and structures. Do I think that a list of some sort, or requiring the property owners have a list of who's staying there, I think that at least goes towards some of the restrictions of like limiting the number of people, making sure that it's not a situation where it's just an open house. But, you know, using that information, one, requiring them to maintain that information, I think is an enforcement issue. 2, requiring owners to maintain that information just for the sole purpose of, well, if there is a problem. I think that, again, I can't point you to anything, haven't looked at any case law on it, but it just kind of strikes me as it's outside of the zoning realm and more of the law enforcement side.
So with the local contact or property caretaker, let's say that this situation that happened on Thrasher Road had a local caretaker. The person goes to file a complaint. If they contact what would be the process? What does the township do with the information of the local contact person? Would they connect them, or would it go through the police department?
Well, I think from the police department side of things, it would be, you know, what can they do from a criminal perspective? And so they may reach out to the property owner, the contact, to see if they know who actually did it. I think it at least gives the police department a touch point. Setting the police department aside, let's say that a crime didn't happen, but it's, you know, I don't know, like some sort of potentially a civil matter happened. Obviously the application information and contact information, that's public record. And so theoretically, a property owner could contact the township and say, you know, hey, I'd like to see the conditional use permit information or the updated contact information, and then that resident could contact that person directly.
Yeah, I think it's good that we look at that though, because I think it's important that we consider everything with regard to this to protect our residents. Do you know what I mean? And in this case, it does seem pretty limited what can be done, but I think with the contact, that might shed a different light.
When the short-term rental provider, they can collect that on their own.
Right.
In how they set up their business, I imagine, and then I think it's great that we have a local contact person, you know, that could connect the dots if there's a need and not create a civil liberties issue for people who just want to park there.
Well, I don't think any of them want to get on our bad side anyway. You know, do something that's going to contradict all what we've been doing, because we don't have any teeth, but we do. I mean, we got this right here. So, you know, if somebody wants to get all huffy about it, well, you know, I'm sorry, somebody was staying at your property, caused damage. Now, what are you gonna do about it? And then let the chips fall where they may after that. That's about all you can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, right now it's just an idea,
Well,
you
yeah.
know, until.
It's gonna be a good idea.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't have anything in place now, which
Right,
is
right.
why it's a problem for your neighbor.
Right.
Any other discussion, any other concerns with the proposed amendment?
Something to also keep in mind, I know it's been I was like, it's been a while. You guys have done at least one of these a year, so I apologize. Obviously, once you initiate and when you have the hearing, part of your recommendation to the board could be to recommend approval with additional modifications. So if you initiate this amendment and as time goes on, you know, in between now and the hearing, or during the hearing, the zoning commission says, you know, we wanna change these things or we wanna add this, you do have the opportunity to do that. So just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
There'll be some other things that are gonna have to take place, the actual permitting process itself, fee schedule, that kind of stuff. So, we'll handle that.
Right, but yeah, once this all gets rolling, we can start working on it, right? Okay, so, let's see, this is the notice. So this is the motion.
I don't think we're there yet.
Oh. Oh, okay. So, under the amendments, we have short-term rentals, we have extension of variances and conditional uses, and the political graphics section 541.16. Are those all in this packet?
Yes.
Okay.
The extension for the Board of Zoning Appeals
Mhm.
to allow me to allow the 12-month period is on page 5, section 810. The political graphics is on page 3, second from the bottom. Section 541.16. And basically, we're just deleting them entirely.
Mhm.
Oh, there might be a typo in, Article 7,
What page are you on? Three?
page 5,
Five.
page number 5. The short-term rental definition is where the owner or permanent host is not residing in the property. And then non-hosted short-term rental also says not residing on the property.
Sorry about that. Good catch.
Okay. Any other corrections in this packet of 3 proposed amendments?
I'm good.
We're good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, that is all of old business. And do I have to adjourn before we go into hearings? No. Okay. We're gonna go into new business then. So it says hearing on proposed amendment case number CZ 2023-001, 2026-01 to rezone the property located at 6100 Reno Road, parcel number 110-000372, from a suburban office to restricted urban residential R8. And then you reference the staff meeting, staff report.
I'll just kind of go over this and then you can ask some questions if you have any questions for it. So this is a zoning change. Location is 6100 Reno Road. It's a public hearing. It's currently suburban office. Where purpose of rezoning is to rezone it to an R8 or restricted urban residential district. The applicant is Hugo Vidal. Is it Vidal?
Yes.
And I'm the case manager. Rezoning application for 6100 Reno Road from suburban office to R8 restricted urban residential district. The applicable zoning resolution section is the zoning map, and I just kind of have a picture of it there. Notices were published on May 6th, and notices were also mailed to the surrounding residents on May 7th. Zoning Commission action is to recommend approval with conditions, disapproval, table, or continue. The post-commission steps will be public hearing set by Glennon Township Board of Trustees, decision by the Glennon Township Board of Trustees, and set the next public hearing within 20 days. Little background, the half-acre application site requested for rezoning is located to the east of Westerville Road and the west of Reno Road. This parcel is currently zoned as suburban office. The zoning map shows two parcels, which is 110-000-219 and last four 1324 to the north in the suburban office district. The one parcel, which is 110, last two digits 79, to the south is in the community service district. All three of the parcels listed have a Westerville Road address. And that is according to the Franklin County Auditor website. However, this parcel, which is 110-00372, is the only one listed as a Reno Road under the site and legal description. The area to the northeast and east is zoned R8. The Franklin County Auditor site lists the property class as residential. However, the zoning map lists the area as a suburban office district. The surrounding area is zoned R8 and fits into the surrounding homes. Then to the north is suburban office, and R8 restricted urban residential. The land used is residential, and there's a church in that area, just to the north. To the east is R8 restricted urban residential, and it is all residential area. To the west is State Route 3 or Westerville Road, which is CS, which is community service. State Route, commercial. And then to the south is CS, community service, and community commercial, which is a commercial district. And that's where more signs is. The proposal is the applicant is proposing to rezone the property located at 6100 Reno Road, Westerville, Ohio, tax parcel 110-000-372, from suburban office district to the restricted urban residential R8 district to allow for the current remodeled residence to be a single-family dwelling in the R8 district. This rezoning is compatible with the R8 restricted urban residential zoning and land use of the adjacent property to the east. The property will be utilize private on-site water and sanitary sewer. Our analysis is the township comprehensive plan designates 6100 Reno Road for office and residential use, with potential for residential housing. The proposed rezoning aligns with the designation as the property is currently used as a single-family residence. Additionally, the property east and northeast of Reno is designated R8 restricted urban residential, further supporting alignment with the area's character. Staff does not anticipate that the rezoning to R8 restricted urban residential would adversely impact any of the surrounding neighborhood. I've included a future land use, talks about density. The applicant, Hugo Rayala, has submitted a rezoning application to rezone 6100 Reno Road from suburban office to restricted urban residential, R8, to allow for the existing completely renovated structure to be rezoned as a single-family residence. The half-acre site located east of West River Road and bordered by Reno Road to the west aligns with the Blended Township Comprehensive Plan, which designates the area for office and residential use. Surrounding properties also include suburban office and residential uses with restricted urban R8 district. To the east and to the northeast, supporting compatibility with the surrounding area. Also in the packet, I've included his application for the rezoning. It's got the Frederick County picture site mapping as well, so you can kind of see where it's at. There's the residence just to the north of it, and then the church is further than that. And there's some boundaries to that area. And then the definition or zoning regulations regarding the R8 district and the suburban officers. I don't know if, how familiar you are with Reno and how often you ever driven down through there.
Oh, I've been through there a lot.
The board sign, there's two residences basically, they look like houses. One used to be a radio, I think they had a radio station out of it.
What was a recording studio?
A recording studio.
Yes.
And then next to it, it's a residence, basically, and then to the north of that is the church. And that used to be a residence there, they twin it. Residents down there and built a church there, and they combined two horses. And then if you go on up Reno, that's all R8. Across the street from it, it's all R8. He's done quite a bit of work to it. They put a nice patio on it, porch covered porch on it, fixed it up so that that's all right.
The board doesn't have any additional questions for Eric. We're welcome to bring the applicant up to it. He may provide a bit more information for you.
That's what I was thinking. Would you like to speak to this?
Yes, definitely. I have videos that shows what it was before. You can, I'm sure you can see it, but.
You can approach, come on up.
Oh, okay.
Come on up.
So, this is what it was before, so that was like a purple bathroom. And then within the rooms, it had like smaller rooms that were used for like, recording music. And everything was soundproof, as you can see, so it was like 3 layers of wall with insulation, plus all kinds of crazy stuff. So, that's what it looks like before. That's the other house that they're mentioning, which is on the north side. And this is just the main, what is now the kitchen. Everything was in exposed, there was no windows, pretty rough shape. This is where the equipment was for recording. And that's just pictures of the basement, it was in pretty bad shape also. And here, this is what it looks like now. So.
I assume you're gonna sell this thing.
Yes, definitely. So, I actually have a buyer that really wants property. It's a young couple, probably in their like early 20s. One of them is he's a landscaper. He's his own company. Not too sure what Emma does, but they typically already live there. The only restriction we have is the zoning. The bank really wants it to be residential for them to be 100% sure that the loan they're giving out is for a house and not for like a business or something else. And that's what they qualify for a loan for just a residential. So this is what it looks like inside. You can see we upgraded pretty much everything. That's purple bath. Now it's a nice bath. And this is the master. That's its own bathroom. That's also completely redone. And the basement that was completely full of trash, we fixed it up and it's pretty nice to clean up. So we fixed everything, roof, siding, gutters. It's a pretty nice property. It's going to increase the value of everyone around it. So definitely a win-win for everyone.
Well, that helps, that, connected the dots, that's what we were missing was why.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What was going to, what would be the benefit?
And this is an odd rezoning request, like for an existing structure to go from this type of district to this type of district. I suspect that it probably was a house at some point, and then it was rezoned, office and so.
Yeah, and where it's located in between two, a church and a business to go residential, but, the current need is financial for this couple.
There's one house to the north of it. It's zoned suburban office, but it's a residence, and then the church.
Oh, I thought you said the church used two parcels.
They did, they combined two, but there's another residence right by it.
Yes. Right side of it.
Oh, okay.
It's another property.
Oh, okay. See, I thought that was like a parsonage or something, with the church.
Yeah, I drove past a few times, including today on my way here to see, and it does make sense that it's in a residential neighborhood. Like, if we didn't have this hearing, you would never think it was not zoned residential.
Before they changed, because what you see now as the front of the house was originally the back of the house. So the front of the house was actually on Westerville Avenue. And that's why our walkout basement was before a garage that was parking below the house. So you would go straight out to Westerville Avenue. And that's why our backyard is so nice. It has like all the brick finish versus the front doesn't have brick. But it's because I'm assuming that at one point when they did the extension of 270 or the correct exit and entry from 270 to Westerville Avenue, they had to close that so they wouldn't cause an accident coming in or out of that property. So they were forced to put their front in the backyard and come in within the Reno Road because of that change. So at some point it must have made sense to have it as a suburban office because it was on a main avenue. But now that it's in the residential side of it, it makes more sense to be residential and follow the rest of the community.
Yeah, that had to be some years ago.
Yes.
Because
many
I
years ago.
lived here about 35 years, and it's always been like this. So, I have to ask my husband.
75 is when they completed the Allenville.
Is it? Wow. Yeah, it had to have been then, because that would be a traffic nightmare. to be right on Westerville Road. Terrible.
They cut that out, it's now a steep bank right there,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay, so that's the first one. Any other questions? Anything?
I just had a curious, they're using aqua water for water and sanitary?
No, unfortunately, I did call Aqua Water. They did not want to hook up that property to their line. So I just bought a brand new water filtration system for the property. It has well water, and that's what the property is using as of now.
What was the reasoning you made?
I can tell you, they just said, I think it's more cost related. If it's only one property, if it would have been two, would have been made more sense for them financially speaking, because the actual water line is not on the side the property is on Reno, it's on the other side of the street. They would have had to like get a right of way, cut the road, then that was a backyard, so now for a front yard, it's pretty long. That's like, I don't want to say like 60, 70 feet from the street all the way to the front of the house, if not a little more. So it's a lot of pipe and a lot of like trenching, and then that exact location, you also have the septic tank. So it's a logistical complications to where you put the actual water coming in, et cetera. So they just said no because it was very expensive to just put one property into their system. It doesn't mean they couldn't, they just didn't see a good reason to do it right away.
There is sewage in there, right?
That's it, like there is sewage and.
It's not septic.
No, it is septic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not-
So, and the drain is also like right there on Reno Road, but I couldn't get it connected either. I don't know the problem.
Any other questions for Mr. Van So it says this commission recommendation to the Blendon Township trustees. When they do this initiating everything of these amendments.
Should be attached to it, it's the notice of public hearing.
Oh, this one?
No,
Or this one, the motion to initiate?
The motion to initiate is for the text amendment. I don't know that I've prepared a sample motion for a recommendation. It's very quick. If the board is willing to, move to adopt a recommendation of approval and authorize Eric to submit that to the trustees.
Okay, I would like to move that, we recommend approval of, case, CZ 2026-01, and authorize Eric to submit a proposal to the trustees, reflecting as such.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Paul? Yeah? Okay. We're all in agreement. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
So in terms of next steps, the application then goes to the trustees. We'll work with the trustees to get another hearing scheduled, and Eric can communicate that date to you, so that way. And then once the trustees have a similar hearing, they'll make they will make a final decision on the application.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The folks buying it could probably take what she just said to the bank. As far as the,
Well, I'll let them know, but I don't control the bank's policy, so.
yeah, just in case.
Yeah, I'll definitely share that too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Next CZ 2026-02.
I'd like to offer the motion.
Okay,
To offer the motion to initiate a proposed amendment to the London Township zoning resolution. CZ 2026-02. Should I read the rest of this?
Yes.
Okay. To initiate it for consideration pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 519.12, a proposed amendment to the London Township zoning resolution, which would, if adopted, revise all residential zoning districts to include a short-term rental as a conditional use, delete certain provisions related to political signage, and update the process for granting an extension to a conditional use permit, with all such proposed textual revisions being reflected in the zoning amendment dated, would it be May 19th, 2026?
Sorry.
Today?
Yes, dated today.
Labeled for identification purposes, London Township zoning amendment number CZ 2026-02. Copy of the text shall be amended to the minutes of this meeting. Furthermore, as part of this motion, the zoning commission hereby directs that a public hearing on these proposed amendments be held,
next month,
When's your next meeting?
June
16th at 6:30 PM.
June 16th at 6:30 PM at
Oh, sorry.
the London Township Senior Center located at 6330 South Hempstead Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081, and that the zoning inspector be authorized and directed to forward this proposed amendment to the Regional Planning Commission for recommendation, to make the amendment available for public examination, and to give notice of this public hearing by publication, all in accordance with applicable law.
And I will second. Any further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment, there's no one here. Is there anything further to come before the board at this time? Because we've finished our agenda. No? Nothing else?
Now, we've been busy enough.
Yeah, gotta get to those stuff. There being no further business before the board, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Seconded?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned, and the time is 7:24.
Great job.
Okay.
Thanks.